Hello everybody, welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And some breaking news as the Springboks departed for Australia earlier today without Director of Rugby, Rassie, which is quite a big call amidst the fact that he's going to be having his hearing in the next week or two regarding the video that was released a couple of weeks ago, criticising the referees from the first test between the British and Irish Lions series. So we're going to be sort of breaking that down, talking about what it means about the fact that he hasn't travelled with the Springboks, whether he might still join up, and what the sort of situation is a bit, and whether it's a good or a bad thing in just a minute. Before we do, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. As always, a big thank you to Manscaped who are currently supporting the channel. You can get yourself 20% off as well as free shipping worldwide using the code FOREVER on manscaped.com. You can join over 2 million people worldwide who trust Manscaped as the #1 men's below the waist grooming brand. 20% off as well as free shipping worldwide. Use the code FOREVER. So today, the Springboks have officially left for Australia for the final sort of stages of the Rugby Championship, where they will face Australia back-to-back before facing New Zealand to try and keep hold of the Rugby Championship, which they currently are the title holders. And it's quite a big task ahead of the Springboks after what's already been quite a grueling test window with British and Irish Lions series, with the 2 games against Argentina back-to-back immediately after the British and Irish Lions series. The Springboks have now actually had a bit of time to sort of take some time away from the game, sort of analyze where they are, sort of get back to full fitness, get some players in. But they did leave today without one of the biggest sort of names and parts of the teams, and that is Rassie ERASMUS. So Rassie ERASMUS has not flown to Australia and will not be pitch side or part of the coaching setup at this stage in Australia during the Rugby Championship. And the reason given was, and I quote, this is from Jacques Nienaber, who has said that Rassie has decided to remain in South Africa for now to allow the focus around the team to remain on the Castle Lager Rugby Championship and the team itself, so they can perform to the best of their ability on the field. He will continue to play an active role in our team and coaches meetings throughout the tour, and schedule permitting, he may join us later on. So what it sounds like to me is the fact that he will probably be staying in the country until he's done his he's had his hearing, and once he's had his hearing, and depending on what happens there, if it sort of gets dismissed or nothing comes of it, he could very well then travel over and meet up with the squad, but he will not be traveling with them at the moment, nor probably the sort of next week or two. And I think it's probably the right decision, to be honest. I think that, during the sort of Argentina series and stuff like that, he hadn't officially been given a date about his hearing. They had sort of formalized the charge that they would be bringing to him and which ruling that they would be charging him underneath, but there hadn't been any sort of finalized date or sort of any sort of suspected action or anything about that. But now that the team is about to go to Australia, Rassie ERASMUS was scheduled to have his hearing either towards the last week of August, which is this week or next week, or early September. So he will be having his hearing in the next week or two. And I think it's probably quite a good idea, given the fact that there is that hearing, that there's so much uncertainty over the type of sanction that he might get. It's probably the right idea to remain behind and sort of try and shift the focus a little bit away from the team. And I think it's probably quite a good thing on multiple levels. There's been a lot of talk about the fact that, is he in fact still the coach, but just, with a different name? And, does Jacques Nienaber really call the shots? And I think it's probably quite unfair in terms of, you look at the coaching setup, where I think a lot of that sort of rhetoric is very much outsiders looking in, where I think within the box setup, I think they've got a very, very good working relationship between Nienaber, between ERASMUS, between Amzondilis Dick Donhuman, as well as Deon Davids. But I think that, being able to go over there without Rassie ERASMUS, for example, might just sort of take away that little bit of an edge and allow the attention to be more on the Springboks itself rather than Rassie ERASMUS while he sorts out the off-field issues, and we've sort of been waiting for this trial or this hearing, this disciplinary hearing by World Rugby, and the precedent that it might set in terms of what punishment they actually eventually do hand down to ERASMUS, because the sort of feeling is that they will have to sort of issue some sort of punishment, but what they actually do and how they go about it will set a very big precedent in terms of future cases and how we sort of navigate this very sort of tense and quite almost like an unspoken sort of tension, as I say, between referees and coaches, and in terms of how the fact that people are saying that the referees aren't very accountable, the coaches don't have a voice to raise their concerns. So it's going to be quite a landmark sort of occasion for World Rugby in terms of how that relationship, how these situations can be prevented in the future, and whether we can start building bridges towards finding a better system so that we don't get to a situation. But in terms of actually punishing him, obviously, the burden of proof lies on World Rugby. They have to actually be able to prove that he himself leaked the video, because it wasn't addressed to the public. It was addressed to the referees in World Rugby. So his lawyer, Rassie ERASMUS' lawyer, has he said that they deny leaking it and that the leak did not come within the SA camp, which would then imply that either referees or World Rugby itself leaked the video. So it should be quite an interesting sort of see what happens there. But in terms of not being part of the setup, I think that I don't think it'll make much of a difference to the Boks themselves. I mean, from the sounds of it, he will still be involved in team meetings. He'll still be involved in coaching meetings with conversations about who should play, how we should play, and that type of thing. He'll still be able to do a lot of analysis and stuff like that from here. But it does sort of deflect a bit of attention. It's not always the case of will he be running water? What's his role? Where is he in press conferences, stuff like that. So it's probably quite a good idea to sort of take a bit of a back seat, still be involved in the sort of the core planning and structure of the squad, but to take a bit of a back seat, deflect attention away, get it sorted with World Rugby, and then you sort of move on from there. If it's a minimal punishment, you can come straight back into the Boks squad and continue to do what him and Jacques Nienaber do, and that's win. They are winning rugby matches. They are winning trophies. So as Springbok fans, we can't really have much complaint. But if the sanction is a little bit more serious, at least the situation of doesn't have to leave the Bok camp. It's more a case of, he just sort of takes a further step back than he's already taken right now. But we'll have to sort of wait and see exactly what happens in terms of the hearing, which will hopefully take place in the next couple of weeks, and we'll keep you up to date with exactly what's going on. Let me know what you think of the decision for him to stay here. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think that SRAB should be stronger and they should send him anywhere and they should sort of take everybody on head on? Or what do you think about this decision? Is it that big of a deal? Where are we sort of sitting with regards to that? Let me know in the comments down below. Smash like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel as well. Check out manscaped.com, 20% off as well as free shipping using the code FOREVER. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you guys very soon.